You probably have a credit card, maybe two, and every month your statement shows a small number at the very bottom. It says, minimum payment due. It feels responsible, almost kind of them. It is a trap. Here is what no one tells you when they hand you that card. Right now, people in the United States alone owe $1.21 trillion in credit card debt. That is not a typo. Trillion with a T. That is more money than the entire annual income of most countries on the planet. The average family carrying a balance owes around $9,000, and the average interest rate on that balance is 22% per year. Interest rate just means the yearly fee the bank charges you for borrowing their money. So on $9,000, you are handing the bank roughly $2,000 a year just in fees, before you pay back a single cent of what you actually borrowed. Nearly half of all credit card holders carry a balance every single month, meaning they pay that fee every single month. And as of late 2024, more people than ever recorded were making only the minimum payment. That is not a crisis number. That is just Tuesday. So why does this keep happening? Why do smart, hard-working people keep falling into the same hole over and over again? To understand that, we need to zoom out, way out. Think of the economy like a giant machine. The economy just means all the buying, selling, working, and earning that happens across an entire country. And this machine runs on one fuel: credit. Credit is simply a promise to pay later. And here is the wild part. This promise can be created almost instantly, out of thin air. When you borrow money to buy something today, you are pulling tomorrow's money into the present. You are spending today what you have not yet earned. That feels great for a while. This machine runs in waves, like an ocean wave. It rises, peaks, then falls. There are two kinds of waves, a short one and a very long one. The short wave lasts roughly 5 to 10 years. Here is the pattern. People borrow, people spend, prices rise. When prices rise across the whole economy, we call that inflation. Things simply get more expensive. Now, there is something called the central bank. Think of it as the country's financial control room. When inflation gets too high, it raises interest rates. That just means borrowing money becomes more expensive for everyone. When borrowing gets expensive, people spend less. And here is the key. One person's spending is another person's income. So when people spend less, others earn less. The economy shrinks. That is a recession. Businesses close, people lose jobs. Then the central bank cuts rates again. Borrowing gets cheap, spending picks up, the economy grows. Up, down, every 5 to 10 years. But here is what nobody brings up at dinner. Each time this wave completes, the total debt in the system is a little bigger than before. People do not pay off their debt when the wave falls. They borrow more. They roll it over. Human nature. We prefer to spend today rather than repay yesterday. Over decades, that habit creates something far more dangerous than a single recession: the long wave, the long-term debt cycle. It lasts between 50 and 75 years. During the rising part of this long wave, everything looks incredible. Incomes grow, house prices climb, banks hand out credit generously because everyone believes the good times will last forever. But a number is quietly growing in the background: the debt-to-income ratio. It just means how much do you owe compared to how much you earn. Simple example. You earn 2,000 euros a month. You owe 2,000 euros. Your ratio is 100%. One full month of income owed. Now imagine that number creeping up every year for decades. In the years before the 2008 financial crisis, the average American household owed $1.20 for every single dollar they earned. Debt had grown faster than income. The wave was about to crash. Then 2008 hit. House prices collapsed, banks stopped lending, more than 13 cents of every dollar earned went straight to debt repayments before anyone could buy groceries or pay rent. Unemployment hit 10%. The economy did not just slow down, it broke. Now here's where your credit card comes back into the picture. This exact same pattern, borrow, feel fine, ignore the growing cost, get trapped, does not only happen to governments and banks. It happens to you at the kitchen table on a Saturday morning, staring at a $5,000 balance. Here's the math in plain English. You borrowed $5,000. The card charges 18% interest per year. Your minimum payment this month is around $100. Sounds fine. But of that $100, approximately $75 goes straight to interest, the bank's fee. Only $25 actually reduces what you owe. $25 out of $100. And because your cash is gone, you use the card again. Groceries, petrol, an unexpected bill, the balance creeps back up. If you only ever made the minimum payment on $5,000 at 18%, it would take more than 30 years to pay it off. And you would pay more than $6,700 in interest alone, more than you originally borrowed. You repaid the $5,000 plus $6,700 extra on top for the privilege of paying slowly. That is not a coincidence. That is the business model. Banks earn more when you carry a balance longer. The minimum payment is designed to create the longest possible repayment timeline. The industry calls this revolving credit. It revolves forever, unless you stop it. In just 1 year, 2022, Americans paid $130 billion in credit card interest and fees. Not because they were not paying, because minimum payments are built to keep you almost, but never quite, out of debt. By 2025, more than 61% of people carrying a balance had been in debt for at least a year, up from 53% just 12 months before. Confusion turned into habit. Habit turned into a sentence with no end date. The Great Depression of the 1930s, the 2008 crash, the Long Depression of 1873. Every major economic collapse followed the same script. Debt grew faster than income. Then the weight became unbearable. Economists call this a deleveraging, a period where everyone stops borrowing and starts paying down debt instead. Spending drops, jobs disappear. Same machine, different year, every time. Here's the one thing to take from all of this. Debt is not automatically bad. Borrowing to invest in something real, an education, a business, a home you can genuinely afford, can make sense. That is productive debt. But carrying a credit card balance from month to month is the most expensive financial product most people will ever use. And the minimum payment is the trap inside the trap. When you carry a balance, the bank is not your partner. It is your creditor. And a creditor has one goal: keep you paying interest for as long as possible. If you only ever pay the minimum, you are not slowly getting out of debt. You are slowly paying for the right to stay in it. This pattern does not care how smart you are or how hard you work. The trap is not about intelligence. It is about design. The debt burden in the United States in 2025, meaning the share of people's income going straight to repayments, was 11.2%, down from 16% during the 2008 crash, but rising again since 2021. The wave is building again. They designed a number called the minimum payment to look like a finish line. Turns out, it is a starting gun, and a record number of people are pulling the trigger. If you want me to break down the next financial trap hiding in plain sight, drop "next trap" in the comments below. And if this clicked for you, subscribe, because most of what you learned in school about money, we are just getting started undoing it.